Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a storytime video, and it's going to be really difficult to do this storytime without branching into other stories because there are so many stories around this story that it's crazy, but I'm going to save it for other storytime. Today we're just going to be talking about DNA and my 23andMe DNA challenge because I think this stuff is amazing and I really wanted to share it with you guys. We have a lot going on with our family because of this DNA test, so there's a lot of amazing stories to come. But today I'm going to share with you guys my results and basically why I think it's such an awesome thing to do. About 4 years ago, I decided to buy my mom this DNA test. She was having some health issues and she was adopted into private adoption, so we didn't know anything about her ethnicity, her medical history. I really wanted to discover more about who she was, just, as much as she did, and I figured it would be a great idea to get this kit, especially after I heard how easy it was to do and how much information you get. We just figured out we might as well try it. For some reason, my mom never got to doing it, and it took a couple years, and I just said about 7 months ago, I was like, it's time to do the test. So I came over, it took like 5 minutes to get done. Boom, I got the email from 23andMe that sent me her results, and we'll get into that another time because that leads into many more stories, as I said, including finding my mom's biological family. That's one big awesome miracle that spawned off of 23andMe, but it also led me to get my own DNA test. My mom really wanted to compare my DNA to her and just get more information about my health, so I'll share with you guys my results so you guys can see just how cool it is, and I'll show you some screenshots so you can see what it looks like. So the first thing that was exciting was finding out my ethnicity because I've never really known much about that. My dad is Jewish and his family is from Poland, Russia, Hungary, Ukraine, basically that whole region. I don't know much more about myself other than that because my mom's was always a mystery. So I found out that I am 87% European, 47% Ashkenazi. They didn't break it down much further than that. That's basically my dad's side. Then there's the 31% Northwestern European. That's mostly like Britain, Ireland, Scandinavia, and that whole area. And then I'm 2% Southern European, and then just 5.6% broadly European. That's probably my dad's side. So after that was really cool to find out, but the big mystery, the other part, was finding out that I'm 12.1% Native American. That was really cool because I never expected that. The little part of me always hoped I was because I loved going to those shops and, going to Native American museums and stuff, and I just loved their culture. So a part of me always hoped I was, and I always thought my mom looked a little Native American, but I couldn't exactly tell what it was. Find out that I was 12.1%. That was very exciting. My mom is 26%, so she's over a quarter, so that was really exciting for her. So that's really cool. I'm less than 0.1% Middle Eastern North African. That's probably from my dad's side. And then 0.5% unassigned, which could mean I'm an alien. So I'm part of the J1C1B1 helper group on my mom's side. I also have Neanderthal ancestry. I have less than 61% of 23andMe customers, so I did not get a lot of Neanderthal. But my mom did, which was really funny. She had more Neanderthal than like 96% of 23andMe customers, so I was teasing her about that for weeks. Sorry mom, I'm much less Neanderthal than you, but I think being Neanderthal is a pretty cool thing. That was the big thing for me, finding out my ethnicity. That was really cool. And then also to just read wellness reports, understand what foods most likely work for me and which things don't. It was amazing to read that I have the gene for lactose intolerance because I've always felt that way, but I never got so extremely sick that I couldn't drink it or eat that. So when I was growing up, I had dairy a lot, but I always felt a little crappy from it. Not really a stomach ache, but just fatigued and lethargic. And when I became vegan, I noticed that I felt so much better without having it. So to see that here just really validates that for me because the doctors had never told me that before. So to find that out and also see it in other DNA tests that's connected to this by looking at my raw data, it was just amazing to really just have that validated. It also says that I can digest caffeine very well. So I have the genes to be able to absorb caffeine, which explains why I love caffeinated drinks. It also said I'm unlikely to flush from alcohol. I'm less likely a deep sleeper, which is very, very true. I talk in my sleep sometimes, and occasionally I get confused as to where I am because we travel a lot and I wake up and I'm like, where am I? So I'm a very light sleeper. I'm likely a sprinter. That's really it. Then they have there's a bunch of other things, like I have my traits and carrier status. I wasn't a carrier for anything through the site, which is a good thing. But when I broke down my DNA report through Prometheus, which is a more in-depth, aggregator of your DNA and gives you a breakdown of what each thing means, I found a bunch of different things that were kind of disturbing, but other things that were really good too. So I guess just to say, if you want to break down your DNA further about your health, just don't take it too much to heart. There's a lot of things that you have genetically that are within your control to change. So maybe if you're a carrier of a cancer gene, or if you're a carrier of maybe a Parkinson's related gene, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to happen to you. It just means that you may carry it. And having both parents involved, I noticed that I have genes for one thing, but then I have genes against it. So I have something that says I'm likely to get Parkinson's, something that says I'm unlikely to. Something that says I'm likely to get bald early, then something that says I'm likely to have a lot of hair. So it's like you get different things on both sides, and I think your body tries to take the best of it. So just kind of take it with a grain of salt and don't get too stressed, but use it to your advantage and try to understand how to better lead your life based on your DNA rather than just trying to see what works for everyone else. Because we are all different, and the real only way to understand yourself is really through your DNA. It's really like your code, and if you could break down that code, it'll give you an amazing understanding of who you are and how to work with what you have. So I hope you guys like this video. I'll post a link in my description to 23andMe so you guys can access it, and if I can find any discounts, of course I'll share it with you guys. I really hope you guys take the DNA challenge. It's one of the most important things you could do for yourself. And if you guys have ever done a DNA test and you have an interesting story to share, please leave it in a comment below because I love to read those kind of stories. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!